shit. Here we go again.
Low, low, man. Low, low,
You like contracts, right? You're a contract guy.
I read contracts instead of conventional pornography, yes.
And we're live and possibly scuffed because I scuffed that too hard. That's what it's on brand. On brand for me. A little bit late because I'm coming over from Meme Copium show. The good news, you guys, Andrew Esquire, American attorney, legal mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Talking about exposing ourselves today. No, exposing fake Japanese people. Of course, I got a PP for you. A nice, lovely PowerPoint, of course. And I am joined by a long-time friend of the channel and my personal friend. One of my best, I will say, historically, one of my first expat friends who's also a content creator here in Asia, and that is, of course, Meme Copium Josh. And
it's time for the Nijikai, is it? A second party. Let's go.
Yes. This is the second stop. This is second stop. So grab your Asahi, grab your whatever you want.
You got it.
Your Tories only in Japan, right? Only in Japan. Grab what you guys want. Strap in, and
got my Drano drink here.
I'm sad I don't have any like super. I have like my Thai stuff is over there. I have my like Thai inhalers. I was stopped by in Laos, and I was like using one of those. I gave you one. Yeah. There you go. This one. Yeah. If you have one of those, people are like, you've been to Thailand or you lived in Thailand. Like
I've never been to Thailand actually. Yeah, I just have like a dozen of these from you. Like every time you come to Japan, because you have been in Japan, I can confirm.
Yes, I was just there seeing you hanging out in Tokyo. You know, we had a great time in Kabukicho, great time, and we've been, Osaka, other places. Actually, I'm probably going to be back. I don't know when this fall, because I want to do some like trekking in the mountains and stuff like that when the weather's better.
The weather just overnight, the humidity dropped, which was lovely.
That's great.
October, November, perfect time to come to Japan.
I'm thinking November. November is what I'm thinking about. But yeah, it's the best time to come. I'd recommend. Yeah, exactly. So we'll talk. But once again, these are people who actually are in Asia versus the accounts we're talking about today, which are not. And the biggest problem that I had about this is they are spreading misinformation. And in the light, especially of Charlie Kirk, we're in the United States, we're on this war against misinformation, which once again, people who labeled Charlie Kirk as a Nazi and said all sort of crazy defamatory things about him, right? People who are still saying crazy and false things, misinformation. You are valid to criticize misinformation, but you also need to hold yourself to a standard that you care about misinformation, no matter whether it suits your political beliefs or not.
Yeah, because a lot of these people are, like we were talking about on my show, is that they leverage people's already either love for Japan or their animosity to certain groups of people, and then use that to push their own agenda while completely misrepresenting the actual facts of the situations in Japan, typically.
Correct. So the point is, there a lot of these people are leveraging, and I think it's just fair to say, Josh, it would be more right-leaning, right? So the people that are right-leaning, or maybe centrist, or maybe you could say anti-immigration, right? That's the people that they're trying to appeal to. That's the main issue that these accounts put out. There's some other stuff, but that's the main one. It usually is an anti-immigrant.
Yeah, that's because it's maybe they have their own racial hatred or something.
Yes,
or they're just looking at their own countries and thinking that they can't get anywhere in life because it must be all the immigrants stealing the jobs or something. It's actually because they're just useless people that have nothing to provide for society. Who can say?
One of the ones that really got me on the case here, and everyone who follows my channel, you know what I cover on the channel, is when they posted misinformation about Johnny Somali. This one was very clear. So they tried to make it sound like this is Gino and Johnny, and we've been covering these guys forever. This guy is, once again, there's many LARP accounts. This is a re-account of me.
This is one of the first accounts that I encountered, actually. Apart from Cog, obviously. But they got very upset with me because, I was exposing them for being a bit of a weirdo.
So they're reposting a video which is like 3 or 4 years old at this point, right? Clearly, Johnny Somali is. We all know where he is. He's locked up in Korea. He cannot leave Korea. So the fact that these guys are trying to repost this information, share this information, make it sound like it's happening right now is all for rage bait. It's all for clicks. And of course, as soon as they get called out, they immediately delete the post. Right? They're just trying to fish, throw gumballs out from the gumball machine and try to hit a, golden gumball, right? Because if these things do trend, they can make a lot of money. And there are other reasons why you'd want to drive a wedge between the United States and Japan. And I'll get into those in a second.
I know a fun little fact about this account in particular, actually. So they, apart from using AI voices, AI fake skinwalking women images and things like that, they actually first, like their old content was talking about like ridiculously niche historical stuff. Well, I guess it's not that ridiculous, but it's very male coded. And specifically, they made a video about Togo Heihachi.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, did I miss?
I got you.
Making a video about Togo Heihachi, which is a naval commander. Women not very interested in boats typically, but there are some some cases. However, it's so funny because their old stuff is so clearly male, but then they're like, well, I got to pretend to be a woman now. So I'll start making videos about menstrual cycles and bladder leakage. Like, I'm not even joking. This is what they're doing. They're like, well, I'll just throw down a couple of period videos. And then clearly they'll think I'm a Japanese woman. Of course. Oh, weak bladders. Women have weak bladders, right? It's like, it's comical. It's like they're looking at caricatures of people and then trying to use that as examples for why they're legitimate sources.
And when you're relying on caricatures, you're often in a position where you only have those caricatures, right? Because if you go to Japan, if you meet real Japanese people, you see, a lot of times people don't fit into the stereotypes that you make of that country. And those stereotypes you may have may be completely dated. Right. You may be talking about a different generation of people. One thing we talked about in your channel was like some of the hatred towards Korea, right? A lot of that, if I talk to people in their 20s and 30s, they just don't. It's just something that's not there like it is with other generations and people. And it's something that, and I here in Bangkok, I know people that are, I know Japanese and Koreans that get along just fine. In fact, one of my closest friends, he's a Korean guy who, likes Japanese rappers and likes to go to the hip hop clubs with them, right? There's often people that are just cool with everybody and don't fit these stereotypes of Japan. So I would like to
just quickly before we move on. So that account as well, because you were mentioning it was their sub account. Their original account actually got deleted because they started to crash out when they were being accused of being a LARPer, because people are just like, why don't you just post a picture of like a Tories can, or why don't you go get a coffee or a strong, no, maybe not strong, maybe Fammy Chicken or something. They crashed out. They started using so many slurs. They got their account deleted on 2025 Twitter, mind you, which is quite a feat,
which is
actually.
Crazy. Yeah.
And then they claimed that they were being shut down because of, the left was shutting them down for speaking truth to power, or it was organized hate campaigns, which is not the case. Like, they're the ones that are organizing these hate campaigns and they tried to do it against you today, but it didn't really work.
And it's not going to work because, once again, what are they going to try to say? That I'm like, people know who I am. People have seen me. I've been in real life. Many other content creators have met me. You've met me. Many people have met me on the internet, including massive content creators, right? So it's like, everybody knows I'm here. It's well documented where I am, right? In general, right? In Asia, right? Sometimes I don't give away my exact location, which is kind of smart for OPSEC. But that said, I'm in Asia. I've been here. I'm in Thailand right now. Lived in Korea. I've been many times to Japan. All of these things are very, very, very well documented. Versus people who have zero proof they have been anywhere near Japan at all. In fact, I would even say many of these people might not even be eligible for a Japanese visa, right? They might even not even be able to get in on a tourist waiver because they may not be from a country that can just show up to Japan.
That's actually interesting. Like, we sometimes do forget the amount of privilege we do actually have coming from Western countries, like, because we can just show up in Japan without any sort of applications. Like, a lot of Chinese people, they can't do that. They have to come with these government groups or like state-sponsored tourist things. It's quite,
and they might have to prove income. That's another thing too. A lot of and this happens with a lot of even in different countries, where they'll show up and a Westerner can just show up and they assume you have enough money. But if you show up from other countries, they're checking how much money you have on you, because they don't want you to be destitute, right? They want to know that you have enough money to like go back home, enough money for your trip. Like, they're really checking. And you know what? Maybe it's not fair, but that's the way immigration really works. And anybody who's been to another country, who's traveled like I have to almost 100 countries, right? This is the fact. They know this is true, right? Which leads me to believe that these people are still
There's
in
actually a
in
good
some
travel tip in
basements.
general. If you come to Japan, is you should have a flight out already booked, even if you want to delay it or something. Like you can get a flight from Kansai Airport to Seoul for like $30 sometimes, like really cheap. Just have that flight. You can cancel it or change it later. But if you show up in Japan without a return flight, their immigration might give you a bit of a second glance. And this is what some of these people do: is they show up with very little money and no ticket home, and they're like, "Well, wait a minute, what are you doing here?" So you could run into that issue.
It can happen. Let me get some of these chats and memberships, and then we'll rock in the PP. We'll whip the PP back out.
Yes, got to compare PPs from my stream.
Yes. Fallen Hero 4567 says gives 1 illegal mindset membership. Thank you so much. Felzu says strong 0, my only friend. Kampai. I don't have strong 0 today. I don't have.
I haven't had it in a while. They're not very good for you, but
I have White Claw in my fridge because of reasons. But yeah, Dark Canister for 2 Singapore says, "Ariga thanks gozaimasu."
Yeah, that's a fun one. There's a couple fun Japanese English mixes.
Pie Baker for 10 says, friendly reminder, folks, 7-8 Don't was founded in the 1800s. They ran hotels and sold playing cards with depictions of comfort women. They came with the hotel rooms.
I don't know anything about this.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
This seems very specific.
Wait, wasn't that like 7-8? Wasn't that like Nintendo, like or something like that? That's like one of the
Nintendo started as like a
playing card company,
pencils or playing cards. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and that may be representing them. I don't know. Hika gifted 5 legal mindset memberships. Thank you so much, Hika. Ivanson Nightfall said, Ohio and Ohio Andrew-san. I think that's what you meant. I got you. Martin Lee for 50 Hong Kong. Thanks so much. Got a live stream in the meeting. Hey, welcome. And Pizza King says day 2 of the meme war on the Pokemon Company. Yes, I'm going to get more into that tomorrow. We're going to be dunking on them and teaching them transformative. But just real quick, so you guys see, I am going hard in the paint on them on X. I want a special shout out because I know he's in the chat here. Don P. Baumwager helping me out with the AI. It's getting really, really good. We got it in the theme of the early one, kind of linking ice to Pokemon to really annoy them and destroy them in memes, which are transformative fair use. So we're going to be getting into transformative fair use and memes and all the Pokemon stuff tomorrow because it's really, really important. They said this would die down in a couple days, and I guarantee you I can keep it up for more than a couple days, right? Without any pills. I can keep this thing up. So yeah, we'll be doing that tomorrow. Make sure you go out there. And if you do, by the way, if you do want to support me in this campaign against Pokemon Company, you want to tweet out Stop the Pokemon Company International at Pokemon and use this kanji because this is what they're trying to hide. This is what they don't want.
That's a company name. That's just every company has the
yes.
Like you're either like a KK or a GK. Which GK is like kind of like an LLC usually.
So they fear this. This is what you got to tweet out. This language here. You can just copy it from my X post. We're gonna keep this thing going. We probably just pump out the memes, pump out the facts. We got JD Vance as Ash here. Just keep memeing them.
Is that a real photo?
Of course, this isn't a real photo.
So I think his kids like Pokemon, right? Like I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really good one though. It's a really, really good one though. Like that's one that looks very, very convincing.
You know what's funny is I don't recognize real photos of JD Vance anymore. I only can recognize the the meme version of him where it's like they got the goofy face.
I don't even think JD Vance recognizes photos of himself anymore at this point.
Yeah, it's quite bizarre.
Muzzy says, peeps still choosing to be Nuisance streamers. Yeah, but one thing to be careful of, because there's one that happened in Japan, and I was thinking about covering it, but somebody watched the whole video and said, oh, it was really like...
is this the guy that got hit on the train?
Yeah, but here's the thing. They watched the whole video, and they're like, actually, number one, the Japanese guy, if you think about culture, was being kind of annoying, and number two, it's not like a super crime to be doing that, right? It's not like what he was doing was like,
it was a more complex situation, like because he was sitting in the priority seats, which you can sit in the priority seats when there's nobody else sitting around. It's just you have to move for elderly, infirm, or pregnant people. But then the Japanese guy actually hit him first, and he probably shouldn't have been live streaming, and he shouldn't be annoying. But that doesn't give the Japanese man license to hit him, and it certainly didn't give the live streamer the license to push him back, right? Like after he'd already de-escalated. So it's more complicated. It's like an everyone sucks here situation.
And by giving him attention, what you're doing is you're feeding that behavior. So they're going to go out there and do more. You're creating the Johnny Somali when really the best thing to do is ignore these people because usually they're irrelevant. They go away. They're churned out. These nuisance streamers, they go and they're churned out within a year or two, they're used up and spat out, and there's a new one that comes out. So it's a
Sure.
little bit of whack-a-mole and a little bit of, for me, I will cover them when they commit a crime that's clear, and there's a reason to kind of go after them. But thanks for forwarding stuff to me, guys. Okay, strong zero or highball, which is your poison? I prefer highball.
I think I prefer highball, but like the strong zero is a guilty pleasure. I specifically like the double ume one, which is kind of hard to find these days. Like the grapefruit is like the regular one that everyone tries, but I like the double ume. It's got such an artificial flavor, but in the right way. I don't know. Maybe it's from my poor upbringing or something.
It hits right. It hits
flavor.
right.
Yeah.
Well, you are poor. You are poor. Okay, let's get into this with the fake Japanese. Obviously, like I said,
That's
this got me.
defamation.
That is defamation in Japan. That's super defamation, which we'll get into in a second. So obviously this got me into it. And let's talk about some traits of these posts, right? Because, and we'll get into some of the examples, the top two really that I want to talk about today. But some of the traits of these fake accounts on X, and this is primarily happening on X, right? They're consistently posting at non-Japanese times. So they're posting at times that would be consistent with England or the UK or maybe America, but certainly not in Asia. So once again, you guys know I am a night owl. I do stay up late. That tends to be happening from streaming, and just people tend to stay up very late in Thailand, especially in Bangkok. So I do end up staying a lot of nights till 2, 3 in the morning. But however, I am not constantly posting only during 2, 3, 4, 5 p.m. Asia time or my time, right? That is a weird behavior if you are claiming to be in Japan. Now, some of these people will say, well, I work at Family Mart on the night shift. Really? Really?
You know what you can buy at Family Mart at any time during any time of the day? They're open 24 hours. If you're at the night shift, just grab a Tories. Why not?
And just so you guys know, that's one of the tests. They call it kind of the Tories test. The people that are hunting down these folks, like Josh Below, this guy on X called Shogun. The people came up with this test to go buy something that is uniquely Japanese, right? That is only in Japan, or you really can't find it elsewhere, and show it in a photo, right? You don't have to put your whole face in there if you don't want to, but you got to show it in a photo and some proof that that's you doing the thing, that's you holding the thing, right? So you can't just find a picture of a can that, and be like, look, there's a can. Okay, well, how do we know you're there or you're doing this, right? You got to be verifying it in some way. So they can't do that. And if you look at their profile photos, your profiles at writ large, they have no self photos, no proof of themselves being abroad, right? They have no proof of themselves getting politically active. And for people that are claiming to be so politically active, they should have real photos out there doing stuff. Even if they wear a mask or a hat or something else, they have none of that. Most of what they have are AI profile photos, which is a dead giveaway of, okay, this is a faker. And it'll usually try to be something that is like anime or cute or whatever else in order to try to get you to think, okay, this is a Japanese person.
They really love the AI. They're able to use it as an authority and also their greatest tool. But I think interestingly, there's some benefit there, because you can use the AI tools to hunt them down and show that they're stealing photos or they're stealing content, or just read through their posts and make aggregate information grabs about what they're talking about.
Yeah. So another one is all their posts are in English, right? So obviously that's a huge one. Or maybe they'll have their profile, some Japanese in their profile to make you think that their profile bio or something to make you think they're Japanese. But beyond that, they're not communicating fluently in Japanese, because if they are Japanese, they'd be able to do that, right? And they are cosplaying as Japanese. They're all pretending to be Japanese, not, oh, I'm an immigrant in Japan. No. And they're pretending to be Japanese.
And this is a very strange thing as well, because like, as we were talking about earlier, the majority of these are very right-leaning and they're very nationalistic. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. That's fine. But it's very peculiar for someone that is such a nationalist to be posting on their content in English. Who are they trying to appeal to? English people don't have any effect on Japan. They don't have any ability to vote or change the discourse. So who are you trying to attract? And that's the thing, is that a lot of these people are just trying to make a couple extra Twitter bucks, because most of them are unemployed. They've got that's why they've got all this free time to post throughout the all day, and like a couple $100 goes a long way for someone that's on a benefit or something.
Right. Or especially if you're in India or you're somewhere else, it's like, well, that's going to be a lot of money. That's going to be a lot of money for you to convert into rupees, right? Like whatever, you're sending back as a remittance or whatever the hell you're doing, that could be a lot of money for them. And once again, Elon has replied to some of these accounts, big accounts have replied to this. I'll get that in a second. And the problem is that those interactions are getting them massive bucks, right? They can make thousands of dollars on X with the interactions that they're milking and just going for cranking out content without any actual knowledge of it or representation, and while representing that they are an authoritative source, right? Knight 742 says, I remember one whose profile said Buddha is king. Oh yeah. That's another.
So actually, that was one of the ones I had in my folder, but I didn't share. They were claiming to be a Japanese Korean woman, I think, and they actually had posted their profile picture saying they're by the Hankyu, which is actually like the train line that I use quite often. So I was like, well, I can go show up and meet you if you're true. But they found out that her profile picture, or his profile picture, was just taken from some Chinese vlogger that had like 200 views in the video. Again, like using these sort of tools, like you can find them very easily. It's very funny to see them exposed in literal minutes.
Yeah. There's one that just popped up right now. This is like literally an account that just popped up right now.
Really?
Let me just show this. Yeah, Shogun called it out. Let me pull this up right now. But it's like, this is the level of stuff they're trying to pull. This is like hilarious. And this is like live, guys. This is like 2 hours ago, right? Like, look at this. I'm just gonna Yohai from Japan, right? I live in Japan. When I went to the bathroom in a cafe, I leave my bag, laptop, phone because no one would touch them, right? This is clearly a freaking AI photo, right? Like everything about this is AI photo, right?
Looks like it. Now you can do this in Japan, by the way. I mean,
which is
just
true.
leave
Once again,
expensive things lying around, but you can typically do this.
This is true, but no Japanese person would state this in English in this format. And then, of course, the good one is, the Shogun responding here has been on this quest. The Shogun TYO, shout out to him, said, Tories, today's newspaper, you know the rules. I am Shogun Chan, right? And now he's trolling them with an AI photo of a girl, right? Because that's their tactic, right? Throwing their own tactic in there.
I mean, it's effective. You can't knock it if it works.
It works. It works. Once again, very, very clear. Okay. So another one is they have no original content. So they have no opinions of their own. They're not going to post an original opinion that is just like, for example, text, right? Just throwing out their text or throwing out there a comment or throwing out there a stream they're on, right? Because they're not showing their face, right? So they've got zero original content. What they're typically doing, and Josh, you can go into this in detail, is taking old news or other people's photos and stealing them, because it's very easy on X. You just go to Snippet Sketch, or you can go to the video downloader or whatever else, and just download that content and reposting it. So they'll look at other big accounts that are actually in Japan and just repost their stuff, often with a little bit more anti-immigrant slant or some sort of, bias slant, perhaps using some slurs, right? That tends to be their tactic. I mean, what do you think about that, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, there was a pretty obvious one that happened recently, actually, with, I think Bun posted this one, is that they were posting a 6-year-old video of like a drunk Englishman that was like, he was being a bad person, obviously, like you should criticize him, but they were posting and saying, like, well, this just happened. This just happened.
Right.
Or like, you have that weird bear character that was like, today, September 23rd, we're marching for against the WHO, and then it's actually it's a photo from winter. Doesn't even make sense, but it's summer in Japan currently.
No, and so someone asked, is it even yes, they do go for monetization. A lot of these are blue check mark accounts. They do push for monetization, some of them. Now, there could be other potential motives. I'm going to talk about that, put a little bit of my tinfoil on, but there is clear window to monetization here, and these accounts can monetize quite quickly because they can get bigger accounts to retweet them very, very fast. Weird for 5 says, will Disney go after Glitch? Knights of Guinevere was made by the creator of Owl House. I don't know enough about Glitch. I'd have to find out more. Probably, I don't know. Maybe. We're in the weirdest timeline right now, so anything can happen. So, is it possible? Yes. Okay. Another thing is use of Western racial slurs and anti-Islam. Do you still have that one pulled up? Josh, yeah, that one you could show real quick. Can you share screen on the one?
Yeah, let me just clear my windows for a second.
Okay, now guys, of course, I'm not condoning racial slurs, but what I'm saying here is they're using racial slurs that a Japanese person would never, ever, ever use, right? Japanese people are not using westernized racial slurs. So okay, here I'll add this to the stage.
Is this one you meant?
Yes, this one. There's a smiley face over it, but we all know what that is. You do not speak like this, right? You do not speak like this. And
it's kind of exposing that they're just doing this for the grift. It's like, well, I'm posting this in English, but I'm trying to get foreigners like you. Like they're just saying the quiet part out loud, that they're doing this all for not for a love of Japan, not for any more reasons, not because they're trying to protect destroy the globalists or anything. It's literally just a grift. That's what this is.
Right. Which is what I have a problem with. Once again, it's authenticity, right? It's hypocrisy, right? These are the things. Once again, authentic, genuine debate and opinions, I'm fine with that. That's fine if that's your authentic opinion. If you are a person living in Europe or Britain or wherever else, and you want to say, hey, I'm British, but I don't like what I see happening in Japan, what I think is happening there, that's fine. But these people are representing that they are Japanese or in Japan and giving that opinion. That's the problem.
I think a lot of it comes from self-esteem issues, and just they don't have any belief that they can, get any sort of clout or any sort of attention if they just be themselves. And it's not true. They could actually just make any account. You don't have to be Japanese to talk about Japanese politics. And for some reason, they think that you do.
The reason why, and people, someone asked in chat, anti-Islam. So anti-Islam, specifically, especially Pakistan, right? And this could be because a lot of these use the language and style of the Indian subcontinent, right? So they're using their style, their posting, their style. It tends to line up with a lot of Indian mannerisms, right? So if it's over the top, once again, you can have whatever opinion you want to have on Islam or whatever else. That's your personal opinion. It's personal right. I'm not here to defend any religion, Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, Judaism, whatever, right? But when you see that account is particularly salty about it, Josh, you mentioned you can search people's...
Yeah, you can search someone's Twitter account. If they have 100 instances of mentioning Pakistan, then you might be onto something. There was actually another example.
How often do even Westerners mention Pakistan specifically, right? That's a very specific reference.
Like, to get even more specific, I can't remember exactly which account it was, but one of them was using a specific slur that literally only people between India and Pakistan use, which is a complete giveaway. Like, I'd never even heard it before. Yeah.
Fat Factor for 10 pounds says this is actually a tactic used by outside antagonists. For example, India is recently discovered that dissidents and overseas enemies were paying for bot farms in South America to fake content. I'm going to get into that because that is one of my theories, that it's not a complete tinfoil hat.
That's an interesting
hear me out. It is not a complete tinfoil hat. Especially nowadays, we need to consider some tinfoil as possibly being true. The last one I want to say is, this is very important, and this from a legal standpoint, it's one of the things I'm interested in. As all of you know, if we've covered Niji Sanji, we've covered a lot of the stuff there in Japan. The chat knows that defamation laws are different in Asia than they are in America. In America, if something is true, you can say it, right? Unless, like with very rare exceptions.
Yeah, truth is an absolute defense to defamation in America, at least.
In a lot of Asia, Japan, Korea, the rule is, even if it's true, you cannot say it unless, and then there's very narrow exceptions like public interest, but that's very, very narrow. Usually it's only going to be the big news agencies or something of big public import, like with Somali coverage, right? It's a court case about a criminal proceeding. That's a public interest. But generally defamation is going to get a lot of these posts. So what they're saying about people would probably get them, once again, it's a crime there too, would probably have them locked up. There's also laws against misinformation and things that are endangering the public safety and the public harmony. These people will be locked up. So what you're saying is, okay, I don't see accounts that are legitimately Japanese and I know are Japanese, or people that I know are in Japan, using this level of aggression, using this level of language, using this level of rhetoric. That's because they would be locked up, or at least fined. They would have some sort of penalty. If they were there on a visa, they'd probably have it revoked if they were a foreigner. I can tell because most people who are expats who live in a country keep their head down. I'm friends with many expats. You're not trying to rock the boat. You're not trying to get crazy. You're not trying to get wild, because you will be kicked out of the country. If you are a bad person in that country, you will be kicked out. They will remove you, or you will end up in jail. Right?
You would be absolutely shocked, because people in America in particular take a lot of their civil liberties for granted. You probably find this out right now with Pokemon, right? Like, Japan has almost no standards for fair use, which is frankly insane.
But they can't understand American fair use, and right now their brains are exploding as they're going to have to talk to their American lawyers like, well, wait, we cannot, we this is legal, right? This is transformative. Oh my gosh, we're going to have to court battle 1 million people. We're going to have to court battle thousands of people in order to get the memes taken away. We cannot do that. We can't suffer the brand damage from that, right? That's the calculus they're going through right now, with this, because they just don't understand, okay, this is possible in the West, or at least their counsel has not been, clear enough with them. So yeah, that's what's going on. And once again, most of their behavior, what they're saying, would be illegal in Japan. So I have 3 likely suspects, for this. Obviously, number 1 is engagement farming. They can monetize, right? So obviously making money That's a very clear one. And once again, I'm not giving you a balance. I'm just saying this is what I think of when I think of a lot of these things. Number two, foreign intelligence. I mean, look, to me, this would be a great way to undermine the relationship between countries, right? So, I mean, it would be a great way to undermine the relationship between US and Japan. Who benefits from that? I think a lot of foreign intelligence, foreign powers benefit from weakening that, right? You know, there's one up to the north of me that would benefit greatly from that. There's a lot of them around the world that just want to mess around. That would be a great way to do it. And that's something, once again, I think the U.S. Department of State need to look into that carefully. To what extent are these people doing it? And the other thing is, if they're able to generate a whole lot of bots really quickly, that's something that takes a lot of resources. That usually implies a state actor, right? So possible. The last one is a political meddler, not necessarily somebody who's part of the state, but somebody who just wants to meddle in the politics of Japan. Very, very possible. And once again, these political meddler, engagement farmer, or even foreign intelligence, these things aren't mutually exclusive. Sometimes these things are all true together, right? So
I have my own theories. I think, like, I usually go for the simplest answer is the most reasonable.
This is the
a lot of these people,
this is the simplest.
Engagement farming, but also this is all that they have in their lives. For some reason, they're this fantasy of like living as another person, another race, or for whatever reason, is so attractive to them, likely because they have nothing good going in their own lives. And that's actually the case, we know 100%. With that one of those fellows that is up in the stream, but I won't.
So let's pull up the next one, and we're going to have some case studies here, and I'll have you. Now, we went over one on your stream, so I don't want to go over that again. But we got these two characters that we're kind of case study here. These are kind of bigger accounts. This Colonel Otaku Gatekeeper. People, if you've been on X, you've probably seen this guy. And then this ISJ Cute Bear. Right? Who
he used to go by a different name, apparently.
I got his DMs. Cool. I got his DMs. We're gonna dox the DMs today and his threats to me. It's gonna be great. So we're doxing the DMs right now. As I call out his bullshit and call out the accounts like this, their bullshit, and just show you how quickly they turn and respond. So let's talk about Cog first. So can you give the people who maybe didn't watch your stream a little bit of background on Cog and who he is? Because he's a special case, because we know he has admitted he is not Japanese after much pressure. So maybe
there was actually one detail I forgot to mention, by the way. So like with Cog,
by the way, he says he's in Yokohama still. It's on his profile.
Yeah. Right, well, no, he claims to be Japanese currently, but he actually fully exposed. So like after there was a character that lives pretty close to Yokohama. Yokohama's the second largest city in Japan, about 30 minutes away from Tokyo. Very lovely place. Cog was pretending to be there because he's claimed that he was working at a family mart because he was doing the night shift. That's why he would be posting at like 2 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Japan time, which is very rare. Now, of course, if you work at a family mart, it's very easy to pick up a Tories, as we mentioned. But this is a particularly weird case because he has some very strange predilections. And but he's basically just an engagement farmer, thief of content. But he actually, once he got exposed because he couldn't meet up in real life with this other character, he fully admitted that he wasn't Japanese. And he said that the reason he pretends to be Japanese is because he's a self-hating British man. Now, he claims currently that his account was hacked and that the hackers posted this on his thread. That's not true. That is not true. Many people screenshotted this when it happened. It was a big laugh right for a couple of days. But he constantly pretends to be Japanese now for whatever reason. I mean, probably because he hates himself or he's so addicted to Sonic or something, because he said that in his post, is that he played Sonic as a kid, so he has to pretend to be Japanese. I'm not even joking. Not even joking. But yeah, he's just I don't know. Just a very strange, lonely man.
But the thing is, the thing I want to point out is this account particularly gets retweeted by a lot of people. I see, Elon retweeted him at some point. A lot of big people, especially on the right. And once again, I'm going to say this very clearly, and I'm to the camera, guys. If you care about being correct and you're criticizing people right now for misinformation, maybe misinformation about Charlie Kirk, you yourselves need to be careful not to become a hypocrite and not to be retweeting misinformation yourself. Hold yourself to a higher standard, right? We can all do that. Now, we all make mistakes. Hey, you probably go back in my tweets and I probably accidentally retweeted some of these people in the past myself, but we have to do better going forward, right? And let it not be said that we did not warn you. Try to get the message out there that, hey, this stuff is misinformation, is inaccurate information. And once you know that, you've got an obligation to go out and let people know. So if you see somebody, who's posting or reposting these accounts, be like, hey, do you know this guy isn't even Japanese? He's not really in Japan, right? Like, let them people know, educate them. If you see your creator that you like, repost them, let them know, right? That's what I did. I'll give a good shout out to my boy Chibi Reviews, a good friend of mine, good guy. We never been to Japan, doesn't know what it's like, wants to go out one day, hasn't really been, doesn't know what's going on. Saw him retweet one of these accounts, like, hey, did you know that's a fake account? And he goes, oh, no, I didn't know. But is the issue actually happening? No, it's actually misinformation. It's, not really happening, that they're misrepresenting XYZ, right? These are good people. Once again, good guy, great guy, good friend, unintentionally doing this, right? I don't think that people retweeting them are thinking much about it. They're scrolling through their phone, they're seeing an interesting story,
you see something, and you think there's a genuine problem, and you want to help. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with being fooled by these accounts. Like, sometimes it takes quite a lot of knowledge to actually know why what they're saying is incorrect. And
right.
It just so happens that both you and I have spent a lot of time in Japan, and it's kind of more obvious to us.
Yeah. And once again, if I see one of my friends doing it, I will call them out. If I see people doing it that I follow, whatever. And once again, I'll DM them privately. I'm not going to try to embarrass them publicly, but I'll be like, hey, look, blah, blah, blah. This person's a fake account, right? And obviously, some people, it's easier to comment, right? But be polite. Be like, hey, you probably didn't know this account is not really Japanese. They're posting misinformation, right? They're posting exaggerations. It's just not the case, because let's be real. And you're in Japan. What percentage, Josh, of the Japanese population is foreign?
Well, like, the official number is like around 2.9%, but I believe 1.5% of them is Japanese, part Japanese, or like returning
Zaibatsu
Japanese.
Koreans.
Yeah, something like that.
Well,
or
right?
Zainichi or something is another group of that. So essentially there's something between 1.7 and 2.5 million foreigners in Japan, which is, again, like, it's 2 or 3%. It's a tiny fraction. And for comparison, Japan gets about 30 million tourists per year. And the government actually wants to double that. But apparently this incredibly small group of people is causing all the trouble.
But once again, tourists need to be distinguished from people immigrating there, because it is not easy. Once again, Japan is not a land border. I said this on Josh's show, but it's not a land country where you can just roll over a land border and end up in the country. You have to take a plane to get there, right? You're not generally coming on a boat, right? That's not typically a thing, unless it's a boat from Busan. But other than that, to Fukuoka, the JR Beetle, right? Shout out.
I think they closed that, actually, or they shut down. I had to take the one from Osaka when I went to Busan.
R.I.P.
But another thing is important is that, like, the foreign population in Tokyo is, like, much higher. It's like 10% of the population.
Sure.
So it seems like there's a lot more than there actually is. And if you actually go outside, your comfort zone or your regular tourist spots, and some of them are traps, but most of them are pretty good, then you'll actually see that the colonization of Japan is not underway. Just
perhaps if you go on an Anaka adventure, right?
Yeah, that could see that.
Real quick plug.
Yeah.
Real quick plug. We gotta plug Josh's channel. Of course, guys, if you want to know about the real Japan, you want to know about what's going on in real Japan, go follow Josh here. Go follow Josh here on Anaka Adventure. See, I'm subscribed. You guys can subscribe too. He's almost at 50. Let's give him to 50K subs here. He actually knows his stuff. Yeah, exactly. He actually knows his stuff. He actually knows what he's doing. And, he's got videos that have done quite well. Let's get 1.7 on the unspoken rules of Japan.
Remake that one.
2 weeks in Japan, 5 days in Japan, travel tips. This is all really good stuff. Whenever anybody asks me, what do I want to do in Japan? I just send them to Josh's channel, because this information is still really, really amazing. I mean, like you said, maybe you need to update it, some of it a bit, but this is a person who is in Japan, loves Japan, and wants to share it with the world, right? And share the hidden parts of Japan. So if you guys want to check that out, give my friend here a nice sub. I think he's earned it today. Okay, let's continue with the other character here in this story, which is the bear dude. So we got the bear dude, ISFJ cute bear. So this guy, definitely not in Japan, quite a character. As you can see, got a clear message here, right? Against immigrants, right? And I've got some DMs from this guy, right?
Oh,
so
let's have a look.
And once again, look at this. These are people like Cabrutus, right? Who's like very anti-DEI, right? Stuff like that. Once again, I've spoke to him. He's a decent guy, right? I don't blame him. But these people are the people that will retweet, and he's saying, leave me alone, in response to me calling out his disinformation about Johnny Somali. So I had seen, and I'll go back a couple slides here so you guys see it. I had seen this post that he also posted and was kind of getting behind, and I called it out. So of course he didn't like that. So it's leave me alone. Well, you had misinformation, bro. Misinformation. I'm subscribed to you and like your videos. I don't want my favorite creator to be doing this. So he starts by trying to lick my
such
posterior.
a slimy thing to do.
Yes, as if that's going to work. I am a professional. I know how to ass kiss, and this is just kindergarten level ass kissing. It's not even good sucking up, right? It's not even good. There must be better content to pursue than petty internet drama. No, this is misinformation. This is stuff that's illegal in Japan. It's against TOS, right? In many cases, right? And you're using language that's against TOS, right? You're encouraging brigading, because anytime that they don't like somebody, they encourage brigading. That's against TOS, right? Saying this,
they were trying to rally people against you today. I saw that. I believe they deleted that post, but they were literally calling for reinforcements in Japanese.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. These videos getting milked periodically from both Japanese and foreign. So saying, okay, I'm just milking this content.
Kind of tipping his hand there that the only thing he's really interested in. There's no love for Japan. There's no some sort of selfless devotion here. It's just like, well, how much interaction can I get?
Yeah. This one is here. This person did the test to prove they're Japanese and mass reported by your friend.
Actually.
My friend did not mass. No one mass reported them, right? They maybe were reported by other people.
The account they're talking about. So that's the one that was flagged down because they crashed out and started posting an insane amount of slurs over the internet.
Insane amount.
Yeah.
Remember, this account also used the N-word, right? So yeah. So this is a great one. If you still want to pursue this, you need to collaborate with actual Japanese people who would have credibility in judging who's Japanese, which is great. I love this because
that's an interesting thing.
Why would you say I need to collaborate with actual Japanese people? Are you not an actual Japanese person?
They gave it away. Yeah.
Your friend is an immigrant in Japan who cannot speak Japanese. Factually false. So the guy they're talking about
the Bun, right?
They're talking about Bun. This guy Bun.
Bun's got great Japanese.
If you are a friend of the channel, you know the Somali conviction team, and you know Dr. Ulrich. Dr. Ulrich is a legitimate language professor. He studies the etymology of words going back to ancient, like Chinese, going back to like ancient languages. Like this guy knows multiple languages, severe savant, and he, Dr. Ulrich, vouched for Bun as having great Japanese and knowing Japanese, right?
Actually, so I'll just share my screen real quick, just because
is a ridiculous scenario. Of course,
we said their name on my channel, but like, just I'll give them their dues. So that.
Let me do it here. Yeah, this is the account. Hold on, let me put this up.
I've got it on my
this guy Bun
Buryodo. Yeah, and he literally says he's a British man in Japan. He's not pretending to be Japanese. He's just talking about things he likes.
Just like you and I, we don't pretend. I'm an American. I'm an American in Thailand, right? You know, Josh is a Kiwi dingo
that's
hybrid.
Defamation. That's not true.
And you're a Kiwi dingo hybrid over there, right? And you know, that said, all of us either can speak, you speak the language, or people who can, right? I am a phone call away from people that speak fluent Japanese, fluent Korean, not even phone call. I get on my phone right now and I send them something. They will translate it for me right now from Japanese, Korean, Thai, Vietnamese, Tagalog, whatever, right? It's very, very easy. And we are very connected in the places we are because we are living here long term. We know people who can help us with advanced translation if we really needed that. And it's clear, even to people that with a passing understanding of the culture and language, that these people don't know it. Because oftentimes what they're posting is in Chinese or even another language, but they don't know that because they don't speak that.
Also kind of strange, because like you don't need to be Japanese to have an opinion on these things. But or
to read Japanese.
The absolute irony of this is that they're not Japanese themselves, but they're trying to use Japanese, or pretending to be Japanese, or skinwalking as Japanese, as a sort of credibility.
And this is the best here. This is the best here, Josh. This is great. If you're going to bully people based on Roman, I will have to call you out.
Oh my goodness! Oh no! He
tried
to, and he deleted the post. So
I'm afraid, chat. Well. I'm afraid of their fake Japanese coming for me. And once again, here's the best thing too. If you're really in Japan or you're really whatever, sue me for defamation. Let me see who you are. Sue me for defamation because what I'm saying about you is defamatory. So if you want in Japan, this will be defamatory, right? Now, of course, they're going to have venue problems because I'm not in Japan, but just try. Right? Or go after Josh because now Josh has said it, right? So go sue Josh for defamation. They can sue you for defamation if you're really in Japan. All these accounts, COG, everybody else, sue Josh for Japan. I'm encouraging you to sue him, right? Don't worry, we'll start a GoFundMe, Josh. It'll be great. It'll be great. Like it'll be the
it's
meme.
fine because the important thing is
they'd
they'd have to be in Japan to bring a lawsuit, and also you can't be anonymous and bring a lawsuit.
Right.
So that's the ultimate thing, is that they can't do that because they don't want anyone to know that they're just grifting and they're both LARPers.
Exactly. This is once again, it goes back to, this is clearly why they're not Japanese, right? Because they do not have any of the signs or telltale signs of somebody who would be living there, operating there, and certainly the cultural signs of somebody who's Japanese, right? And what I think, and this is where Ken Sama comes up, right? I got Ken Sama here. This was in the PowerPoint before anybody mentioned him.
Oh, Ken Sama.
Ken Samas are the reason why this stuff goes big. And this is why I want to warn all the Ken Samas out there. I know a lot of people love anime, and I see people, my weebs in the chat. Look, listen, I'm a weeb too, but you got to understand, do not believe everything that random accounts say about Japan. Just like everything in anime isn't true, just like K-dramas aren't true about exactly how Korea is, right? You got to understand it is different than your perception of it through anime or media or whatever else, and certainly through random posts on X. Right? It has not become, and I was just there in Tokyo, yes, there's a lot of tourists. Has it become, Kabul, or has it become like Addis Ababa or something like that, like in Africa, right? No, that's not the case. Yes, if you go to Kabukicho, there's going to be Nigerian touts, right? Yes, there's going to be, certain foreigners in certain places, particularly in Tokyo. But does that mean the whole country is overrun? There's some sort of like mass immigration problem like you might see in Western Europe? No. That is a very false story.
Well, the Japanese government wants more tourists. I mean, you certainly can criticize over tourism in parts of Japan. There's definitely discussion to be had here, but you don't need to make up things to make it a real conversation.
Over tourism is not immigration. A tourist has to leave at a certain point. And once again, you're not going to be able to live easily in Japan without a proper visa. You can't get a bank account. You probably can't, rental is going to be an issue. Phone numbers are going to be an issue. You're going to have issues in Japan trying to operate long-term if you're a foreigner. Now, once again, are there people that, try to duck visas and evade them, et cetera? Yes, but eventually you're going to hit a snag.
Even if you have, this actually occurred to me recently, even if you have a bank account in Japan, you periodically have to, renew your residence card. And every time you renew your residence card, the bank will literally lock your account if you don't report it within 3 months. And if you've ever used a Japanese website, it's very frustrating because they don't handle middle names very well, and they don't handle English very well. And you have to write your name in English because that's your real name, right? And then you have to also have the Japanese translation for it. It can take a long time, and I've literally had to deal with this last week. It is very frustrating. Japan is a wonderful place to live. It's a wonderful place to visit, but there is a lot of difficulties here that you can't just bring in millions of people. It's just not going to happen.
Nope. Okay, let's get here. Fat Factor for 10 pounds says, the other thing that happens in that content creators are told to go here, right? And here, and say how bad the country is, and we'll pay you X. India is currently targeted by this method. And well, there's the opposite, right? Like China, where it's a known fact that the local governments are paying people to come and promote the country. They are saying, hey, no, we'll comp you, whatever. And even Josh, to a certain extent, even in Japan, you deal with, some localities or maybe a hotel or something else like that. Well, that will pay you to come out. It's like kind of an extension of that.
Yeah, I've heard of people obviously promoting countries. I've never heard of them going to be detracting of other countries. That's kind of
that is a thing as well. Yeah, that's
so petty.
Well, but here's the thing. Let me put it this way. Well, for example, I'll use a good example. China, for example, wanted to drive their domestic tourism industry. So they were slandering all the common tourist countries because they wanted people to feel unsafe outside of China. So they were slandering them to keep them inside. Right? Because they wanted them to spend their money domestically. Well, we know it's a domestic tourism versus international, right? Because you're losing money internationally. So
interesting.
Leprechaun go for 10. Thank you. Pinebaker said, are you telling me the Japanese breeding visas are fake? Well, now my vacation days are ruined.
This is one of the funniest, most prevalent jokes that has been going on for
It's a good one, though. That
reminds me, actually, because you're talking about Pokemon recently.
Oh, hold on. I got that. We're talking about Pokemon because you know what? I am a Pokemon. That's right. That's right. Actually, I got a bigger
Very
version
good.
of it. Let me
The
enhance
electric
this. Let me enhance this. Yeah, here's a good one. Here's a good one. Yeah. Come with 60 HP, scuff, and PP play.
Weakness
Hits
of
you for-
fighting. Interesting.
Yes. Legal mindset can stun you with his PP in a swear jar. Watch out for his random moments of
Well,
scuff. It's very true.
the thing is, right, like, so obviously there are some social problems in Japan, but like, you know, Pokemon Go came out, people went outside and started walking everywhere. Pokemon Sleep came out, people started sleeping.
Right.
Japan's got a declining birth rate. All I'm saying is, if they come up with Pokemon, you have to fill in the gaps. They could probably solve that.
Pokemon breeding. Yes. I'm just
The
saying.
Vaporeons, hide the Vaporeons. Yes.
Yeah, there are ways to do this, right? If the EV cosplayers like get really good, right?
Oh no.
So let's get here. 201 Watt Studio said Big Tell each and everything and show Bob's that. Becky said the only fact Japanese accounts you should follow are Henya Clippers. Heyo, based. Thick like a brick says Sonichu strikes again. What's Chris Chan's status right now? Is he in criminal? What's he doing?
Chris Chan has had an interesting arc. I think he met like a Finnish woman who's like kind of wrangling him and preventing him from going too crazy. There was rumors of a demon baby in the brewing, but it didn't happen. But the only thing I really know recently is that the Sonichu medallion was smashed and reforged, and that Chris Chan had made an official statement on the Sonichu curse. But I haven't really been following up with him very much. So, also coincidentally, the same day that the Sonichu medallion was broken, apparently was the same day that Trump announced there was like some cure to autism or something, which I think is just like,
yes.
Was it Tylenol? Like,
it's not. So Tylenol caused allegedly, according to Trump, and which, by the way, there's been a warning on it forever. If you look at the warning on Tylenol,
I think Tylenol themselves doesn't recommend taking their products when you're pregnant. Yeah, but like, it's just an interesting coincidence.
It's very commonly overdosed on, right? So people would just overtake, and that's it's one of the most common because the amount, if you look up the amount to overdose, it's less than you'd think. You'd think it's like swallowing a bottle of it. It's not actually. It's less than you would think to overdose.
I don't think we have that where I'm from. I've never really seen Tylenol before. But interestingly, you can't really bring that sort of stuff to Japan anyway.
And, well, like here, for example, they sell it in much lower quantity. So like, for example, you get like a 6-pack. So like, even if you took all 6, you're not going to OD versus, people taking 12 or something a day or, some ridiculous amount because they have a lot of pain, which once again, I empathize with that, but it gets to too much. My 12 spoons with a rose for 5 New Zealand Kiwi bucks. Does him being a Kiwi dingo hybrid mean he's only half? Because to us Kiwis, that's true.
I'm a hafu. Half
yes, a hafu Kiwi
and hafu Kiwi white. My mom's from New Zealand. That's true.
Pie Baker says play Pokemon breeding, get shiny, profit.
I don't know if your Pokemon children are coming out a different color than. Well, I mean that might be another problem.
Fat Factor for 2 pounds says the LARPers wouldn't last 5 minutes. It could be true. No, and once again, they've clearly never seen real Japan. And if they did, they would know that is not the case of what's happening. They've not been there. It's very, very clear based on their presentation of what's happening that they're not in Japan. They're in some of the news. The most dangerous thing is when they take news that might be real and they wildly exaggerate it, right? And so they'll say, oh, now there's, for example, the Nigerian visa thing, it was
they were taking photo. Yeah. So they had the African hometown countries announcement, which was literally a non-official government sort of nice idea that had no backing, no power, and no details whatsoever. This was mistranslated using AI translation in the African countries and announced, and the world ran with this story as if it was real. Like they were going to import like millions and millions of people into Japan, like specifically into Chiba. I mean, even Japanese people fell for this because it was just no specific details that were released. The government announced that they're just going to do something else, but with a different name because there's too much misinformation about this. And some of the LARPers are even taking this as like a victory. Like they think that they changed something where they didn't. There's nothing to change because those towns couldn't issue visas anyway. Did I disconnect? Hello? Is Andrew frozen or am I frozen? Chat, am I taking direct control of this stream? I thought it was me. It's just... It's time. Welcome to the Memal Wimeset stream. All right, now it's my channel. All right, chat. If we get a $50 super chat before Andrew comes back, I will show you what's on the side behind this Polaroid. Andrew does not want you to see it. There's a special deal with the chat. Okay, this is. I'll give you a quick look. Oh, it's cringe. Oh my goodness, there's so much cringe on it. We're gonna have to show you. But I'm taking over. It's weird. It's weird for me to be here, but it's a little bit of fun. Maybe the people got him. Oh no, he's back.
There we go. Back. I'm back.
Don't tell him about the Polaroid. Okay.
Sorry for the scuff, guys. I don't know. Maybe they're coming for me. They're coming for me. They're DDoSing me right now from. They're just
DDoSing random spots in Thailand to try and like spray and pray.
Yeah, exactly. But that said, let me get a couple more of these. Hatch and Lay said instead of Pokemon breeding and seed, they made life-size Gardevoir plush.
Oh no,
that's great. LaWaffle says, "What's going on?" Interview, yes, with Josh here, who's over in Japan, helping me hunt these people down. So once again, give him a like, give him a follow. Meme Copium and Inaka Adventure. Brian says Kabukicho is fun as hell. Fat Factor, you're right. I like it.
If you know where to go. If you know where to go, yeah.
Yeah. Well, once again, you don't go into anywhere that like the touts are letting you to go. But if you look up places beforehand, it can be quite fun.
Yeah, just walk through there and go to Golden Guy. That's the best.
Fellas who said, so Bun is fake. No, Bun is real. So Bun is real.
He's just not a Japanese person, but he never pretended to be so. Like he's a British man that lives in, I believe, Tokyo, and he does a lot of running. He does a lot of martial arts, but he's never pretended to be Japanese. His profile picture was never Japanese, as far as I know, and he always said he was British.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's once again, it's a lot of people that are out there doing good work. Meme Copium. I'm going to continue on this once again, fight against this. If you believe that misinformation is wrong, you should not be party to it. And I am not going to, sit by idly and allow people to spread misinformation, whether it's right leaning or left leaning or whatever. I think it's important to stay committed to the truth and committed to the facts, and perhaps committed to the memes, because I do love the memes. So we're going to be back tomorrow doing more Pokemon stuff. We're going to be really schooling them in fair use. We're going to have some cool AI videos that are going to be totally fair use and transformative. So that'll be fun. So stick around for that. Josh, do you know what you're doing tomorrow on your channel, Meme Copium?
No idea just yet. We'll have to see.
Okay. Well, stay tuned. The world's getting crazy. Maybe Dino Stream?
Weekend.
Okay. Guys, stay tuned, and I will catch you all next time. Don't be like these accounts after today, because you know what they're doing. Coping.
You are coping the seething. You just can't believe what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping the seething. The truth it is all day, and now you are more than you're coping. Coping so hard. Coping your seething. Coping your seething.
Back in here. Well, what's up?